We are all, in various ways, self-seeking, lacking in wisdom, lacking in courage, afraid of death, afraid of pain. And we all think that's too bad, it's me, that's wrong. And if only I could be the right person. Is this man going to tell me something that will help me to change myself so that I will be a more creative and cooperative member of the human race? Well, down east, everybody wants to be a beast. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to have, to be, and to do what they feel they've been called to do. The challenge becomes that most of us, when it's time to do what beasts do, we don't do it. See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, it's a manifestation of what we believe is possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication. It's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life. Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they've done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things they've observed. What I'm suggesting is that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. There's nothing you can do about the past, but you can do a great deal about your future. You don't have to be the same person you were yesterday. You can make changes in your life, absolutely startling changes, in a fairly short period of time. You can make changes you can't even conceive of now if you give yourself a chance. Your abilities will grow. You have untapped talents and potential that you haven't even reached for yet. And as time goes on, you'll be able to reach deeper and deeper. Before you know it, you'll be able to do things you never thought you could do. You'll be able to handle things you never thought you could handle. You'll have ideas that you've never had before. Because let me tell you something right now, and burn this into the core of your soul. There's always room for the best. There's always room for the best. And if you're prepared to become the best, you can become unstoppable. You can build something other people think is impossible. You can build something out from under a mountain of doubt. The more you can create success rituals, processes, and systems, daily success rituals, to activate your motivational centers, your emotional centers and behaviors, the more you can create daily rituals of how you start a day, how you deal with stress during the day, how you plan your day, how you evaluate your day, how you follow through to the end of the day in a process that puts you in a cycle of success. The easier it becomes to achieve success and to make that the default mode of the brain. So if you want to do something, if you've thought about something you want to do, take it head on. Decide that you're going to face it, that whatever shortcomings you have, you're going to strengthen yourself there, that you're going to get started right now. Do what you can, where you are, with what you have, and never be satisfied. Always strive to be more than that which you are. Don't get satisfied with yourself. Always know that wherever you are, you can enjoy more, that you deserve more. You have not because you ask not. Now listen to me. A lot of the problems I was having were because what I was asking God for was the wrong stuff. I kept going to Him too small. God doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you believe. You've been blowing it. If you up your ass, He ups His give. Lord, help me fix my car so I can make it to work. Why don't you ask God for a car that doesn't need fixing? Oh, you think that's too big for Him? So you don't ask this great God for big stuff because you don't see how you can get it. See, the how-to is none of your business. Show me the scripture where He tells you to figure out how to do anything. He doesn't ask you to figure out nothing. If I were you, I'd try to. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. I believe that the struggle is a part of the process. People who get things without struggle don't appreciate them. It is the diligence and the fight to be relevant that creates the backdrop. So when you get there, you appreciate what God has done. Light loses its relevance without darkness. Pain and struggling are a part of the process. The promise is not powerful if it is not painted on the backdrop of a problem. There are times I felt like giving up. Everybody has a cross to bear. If you haven't been at it, it's coming. You can either decide to continue or to quit. You're going to always have that decision. See, I was so sick of being poor. My motivation was I was just exhausted from poverty. I was sick of living in my car. I was sick of not having money. And see, that's what people do. People quit when it's at their hardest moment. Somebody sent me a plaque one time and said, if you're going through hell, why stop there? Move, keep going. And I just could not see myself not being successful. Can I tell you something? If you really want to be successful, you have to have a lot of grit. Because life ain't fair. Life is hard. Nay, it is not fair. But life ain't fair to nobody. You just gotta fight through, man. You gotta bite back sometimes. People's opinions of you are none of your business. I have lots of haters, but who are they? They don't even know me. So I don't give them any energy. I just keep going through. But then I tell you something too. Haters motivate me because when they're talking about me, that means I'm doing something. If you don't have any haters, you need to get some. Because if you have no haters, you ain't doing nothing. Bam. So one last piece to that, if you give up, you know exactly what's going to happen. Nothing. The reason God wakes you up in the morning is because he still has something for you. So as long as I wake up, I just look for it. I say, okay, God, what is it today? It might be a challenge or it might be a win. But either way, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. And if I wake up tomorrow, that's a good sign that he ain't finished with me. Every struggle is making you stronger. Every difficulty is growing you up. Every painful time, even though you don't like it, is developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Don't complain about the pain. Without the pain, we couldn't reach the fullness of our destinies. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Heartache, loss, disappointments, they don't leave us the same. When I lost my father, I didn't come out like I was before. I was changed. You go through a divorce, a legal battle, friend betrays you, eventually that will pass. You'll get through it, but you will be different. Now, how the pain changes you is up to you. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out with a chip on your shoulder, blaming God, or you can come out stronger, with a greater confidence in God. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, a new fire, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. All of us experience pain. My challenge, don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character, to gain new competence. Anybody can give up. Anybody can let it overwhelm you. But you know what? That's wasting your pain. That pain is not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you, to increase you, to develop you. Once you understand the power center is right within you, and you learn how to just use the tools a little bit better, well, we've got the most powerful 3-pound tool in the world with no user's manual. And so we teach people, here's the latest research, here's how you can apply it to your life to be healthier or happier. Make more money, get a better job, get a raise, start your business, and do better by retraining your brain to be totally aligned with your goals and dreams. Learn how to stay focused, stay motivated, stay on track, develop the habits that will empower you, and do the things that inspire you instead of the things that expire you. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to be different. Man, you don't have to fit in with the crowd. I tell my sons all the time, why are you following everybody when you were clearly meant to lead? It's always better to just do your thing, and I don't care what situation you're in. You can turn your life around because it's never too late. See, I didn't get into comedy until I was 27. I was homeless from 30 to 33. I lived in a 1976 Tempo. I lived in a car for 3 years. And so, people see me today and don't know where I come from. I tell young people all the time, the key is you can't ever give up. At some point, I think we all hit that moment in life where things just are not going how you thought they would go. Sacrifices are always required on the road to your dream. The question is thus, what are you willing to sacrifice? Well, funny kari shitpitches ein poor by Kong can pon iron we stand out from all curl. When you're in that darkness, it feels uncomfortable. You can't wait. Sit in that darkness. The only way out is to step forward, to face your fears, to become your own light. Anything is possible, but only if you believe that. See, if you're the type who says, no, anything is impossible, that will also be your reality. Expectations. That's what happens to you if you live your life in despair. That's what happens to you. And as you begin to take that process into your hands, as you begin to shape it, as you begin to craft it, you need to remember one thing. As Larry Page said, being negative is not how we make progress. Tearing yourself down over the things you've done is not going to empower you. Change the patterns that are keeping you stuck. The moment you change the frequency that your thoughts operate, different things come back to you. The smarter you become, the more educated you become. But you can't combat the same issues in the same way. The aha moment is the door that opens, but your new life does not begin unless you can step through that door. Keep going. I am saying, I believe in myself. The best thing about this is that you get to decide what it is. If you focus solely on somebody else's goals, you will see evidence of that everywhere. If you focus on your goals being inevitable for you, you will see evidence of that everywhere. See, the marketplace rewards those who have evolved. The marketplace rewards those who have become more valuable. You will be rewarded for the play. Cry in secret, plead in secret, but in public, you'll be rewarded. Who you are today is just a point of reference. Don't ever confuse your potential with who you are right now. When you feel like giving up, don't decide. When you're thinking about giving up, don't. When it looks like you're not going to make it, keep going. You solve one problem, then solve the next at 5. It doesn't matter how you get knocked down in life because that's going to happen. All that matters is that you get up. You have to get up. The experience you're having right now has not come to stay. It has come to pass. I tell people, many people wait for greatness, believing they have all this time to live. But we only have a moment. And I'm telling you, kings and queens, it's time to go after the dreams that we want. It's time to conquer everything that we believe in, and everything that we know is deep down in our soul, what belongs to us. Then you consistently keep improving in that area through all the action, learning, and new intentions you're setting. From all the improvements you are making, you start believing more and more. Greater intentions and greater beliefs mixed with action and learning create amazing results. Because when you see the invisible, you're able to do the impossible. Only those who can see the invisible can do the impossible. What if you are welcome to move into your own personal greatness? For a successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will. If you can stay hungry, you can get the resources. If you can stay hungry, you can get the strategy. If you can stay hungry, the idea is going to come. If you can stay hungry, the connections will land. If you can stay hungry, I'm saying, in spite of this, I'm in control here. It all starts with honestly asking yourself what you've been lying to yourself of. Consciously admit that you've been avoiding that thing and do everything in your power to go out and change it. You'll start to move forward and achieve that thing. You'll start respecting yourself more, and you'll start carrying yourself differently. It's not easy to do, but I promise you it'll be worth it. It is the chaos of the time that creates the conqueror. So when God gets ready to reveal to you what you have in you, He will often place you in the midst of chaos to push you. Why do you want to work out? What is your goal? The most important thing is that you have a vision. Do you have a goal? We can't work out without purpose. We need to get into our best shape for the wedding. Summertime's coming, so we want to look good. Our high school reunion is coming up. So you've got to lose weight. The biggest purpose in life and all that stuff is how you respect yourself, how you look at yourself. That's an everyday journey. Things that are difficult, when you do these difficult things, you're stressing your mind. Or don't stress your mind. Exercising your mind and exercising your body's ability to manage intense situations is hard. It's very difficult. It's very testing. Look at training as something that builds character and work ethics. Look at training as something that builds confidence. Look at training as something that shows you how to fail and how to get up and when. If you stop working on yourself, your mind will grow weaker. You must make a commitment that nothing is more important than your self-development. Because a stronger you is a better you, and a better you is better for everyone around you. The truth is, most days I don't want to go to the gym, but I do. Even though I don't feel like it, it doesn't matter if there's a tornado, a snowstorm, or a hurricane. If the world is on fire, the job has to get done. Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive, and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that might seem, take it. Make it happen, because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. Tell the world one time what you're going to do. Then stop talking and start grinding. Think like a champion, speak like a champion, and then walk it out. Grind 120 all day, every day, because you don't have to be great. Just start. You need to start in order to become great. Start today on your journey to greatness. It's what you do with what you have. Are you capable of grappling with the fact that you're fundamentally flawed to the point where you have to break things down into almost childlike steps in order to manage them? The answer to that is yes, you are, most of the time. Our mind is like a balloon in the wind, blown here and there by external circumstances. Sometimes you want to expand your style and grow, and that's always good, but never veer too far from who you are as a person. I think a lot of what happiness is comes down to a management issue and decisions that you're making right now. You could be in a state of mind right now, but you could make some decisions to adjust that. And over the next couple of hours, you'll get to a much better place. Those who have gone through the experience of pain and difficulties understand from their own experience the pains and sufferings of others too. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is to help someone else. It's selfish because of the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling you get from helping others. Nothing's better than a feed. How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. As someone who's done what you're about to go and do, I can tell you from experience that the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Tear down this mural. Tear down this mirror that makes you always look at yourself, and you will be able to look beyond this mirror and see the millions of people that need your help. You will make a huge impact on the lives of the street, the town, the country, and our planet. Choose to help on any given day in any given cause, and incredible things will happen in the world you live in. You're going to make the decision of what you want to do with the information that you're being given. I have no power over you. You have the power, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we're not helpless because we have our minds. We have our minds, and you shape and mold your life from moment to moment by your thoughts and your beliefs and your attitudes. You also want to know that you really are important to this world. You might say, well, I really don't do anything, but you are. Just the fact that you're alive is important, and your life has meaning. It really does. And you can contribute to the peace and the harmony of this planet just by using your mind. Now, some people get involved politically, and some people march, and some people do Peace Corps, and some people help feed the homeless and do all sorts of things. And that's fine. But you can also contribute to the peace and harmony of the planet just as much by how you use your mind. Slow down. Think deeply. With my sighted eye, I see what's before me, and with my unsighted eye, I see what's hidden. Alice Walker. And this say, in mine, I'd say, I'd fear we shall go as in set the clouds. In the intro sequence of the beloved children's show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, The first interior shot does not show the host. Instead, in the beat before Fred Rogers appears on the screen, singing his cheerful song about being a good neighbor, viewers see a traffic light blinking yellow. For more than 30 years and nearly 1,000 episodes, this subtle piece of symbolism opened the show. If it went over the heads of most people watching, viewers were still primed to get the message, because whether Fred Rogers was speaking on camera, playing in the neighborhood of make-believe with King Friday the Puppet, or singing one of his trademark songs, just about every frame of the show seemed to say, "Slow down, be considerate, be aware." As a child at Latrobe Elementary School in Pennsylvania, Fred Rogers had been a victim of bullying. Kids picked on him because of his weight and because he was sensitive about it. It was a horrible experience, but this pain spurred his groundbreaking work in public television. "I began a lifelong search for what is essential," he said about his childhood, "what it is about my neighbor that doesn't meet the eye." He even framed a print of that idea on the wall of his production studio in Pittsburgh, a snippet from one of his favorite quotes, "What's essential is invisible to the eye." That is, appearances are misleading. First impressions are too. We are disturbed and deceived by what's on the surface, by what others see. Then we make bad decisions, miss opportunities, or feel scared or upset, particularly when we don't slow down and take the time to really look. Think about Khrushchev on the other side of the Cuban Missile Crisis. What provoked his incredible overreach? A poor reading of his opponent's mettle, a rush to action, shoddy thinking about how his own actions would be interpreted on the world stage. It was a nearly fatal miscalculation, as most rush jobs are. Epictetus talked about how the job of a philosopher is to take our impressions, what we see, hear, and think, and put them to the test. He said we needed to hold up our thoughts and examine them to make sure we weren't being led astray by appearances or missing what couldn't be seen by the naked eye. Indeed, it is in Stoicism, Buddhism, and countless other schools that we find the same analogy. The world is like muddy water. To see through it, we have to let things settle. We can't be disturbed by initial appearances, but if we are patient and still, the truth will be revealed to us. That's what Mr. Rogers taught children to do, starting a crucial habit as early as possible in their lives. In countless episodes, Rogers would take a topic, whether it was self-worth, how crayons were made, divorce, or having fun, and walk his young viewers through what was really happening and what it meant. He seemed to naturally know how a kid's mind would process information and had helped them clear up understandable confusion or fears. He taught empathy and critical reasoning skills. He reassured his viewers that they could figure just about anything out if they took the time to work through it with him together. It's a message he shared with adults too. Just think, Rogers once wrote to a struggling friend, "Just be quiet and think. I'll make all the difference in the world." There is on the surface a contradiction here. On the one hand, Buddhists say we must empty our minds to be fully present. We'll never get anything done if we are paralyzed by overthinking. On the other hand, we must look and think and study deeply if we are ever to truly know, and if we are to avoid falling into the destructive patterns that harm so many people. In fact, this is not a contradiction at all. It's just life. We have to get better at thinking deliberately and intentionally about the big question, the complicated thing, understanding what's really going on with a person or a situation, or with life itself. We have to do the kind of thinking that 99% of the population is just not doing, and we have to stop doing the destructive thinking that they spend 99% of their time doing. The 18th century Zen master Hakuin was highly critical of teachers who believed that enlightenment was simply a matter of thinking nothing. Instead, he wanted his students to think really, really hard. This is why he assigned them perplexing questions like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And what did your face look like before you were born? And does the dog have the Buddha nature? These questions defy easy answers. And that's the point. By taking the time to meditate on them deeply, in some cases for days and weeks or even years, Students put their minds in such a clarified state that deeper truths emerge and enlightenment commences. And even if they don't get all the way there, they are stronger for having tried. Hakuin promised his students unexpectedly. Your teeth will sink in, your body will pour with cold sweat, and at the instant it will all become clear. The word for this was satori, an illuminating insight when the inscrutable is revealed, when an essential truth becomes obvious and inescapable. When we all use a bit more of that, well, no one gets to satori going a million miles a minute. No one gets there by focusing on what's obvious or by sticking with the first thought that pops into their head. See what matters. You really have to look to understand it. You have to really think. It takes real work to grasp what is invisible to just about everyone else. This will not only be advantageous to your career and your business, but it will also help you find peace and comfort. There is another great insight from Fred Rogers, which now goes viral each time there is another unspeakable tragedy. Always look for the helpers, he explained to his viewers who were scared or disillusioned by the news. There's always someone who is trying to help. The world is full of doctors and nurses, police and environmental volunteers, neighbors and friends who are ready to jump in to help when things go wrong. Make no mistake, this was not some glib reassurance. Rogers, building on advice from his own mother when he was a child, had managed to find comfort and goodness inside an event that would provoke only pain and anger and fear in other people. He figured out how to communicate it in a way that continues to make the world a better place long after his death. So much of the distress we feel comes from reacting instinctually instead of acting with conscientious deliberation. So much of what we get wrong comes from the same place. We're reacting to shadows, taking uncertain impressions we have yet to test. We're not stopping to put on our glasses and really look. Your job after you have emptied your mind is to slow down and think, to really think on a regular basis. Think about what's important to you. Think about what's actually going on. Think about what might be hidden from view. Think about what the rest of the chessboard looks like. Think about what the meaning of life really is. The choreographer Twyla Tharp provides an exercise for us to follow. Sit alone in a room and let your thoughts go wherever they will. Do this for 1 minute, work up to 10 minutes a day of this mindless mental wandering. Then start paying attention to your thoughts to see if a word or goal materializes. If it doesn't, extend the exercise to 11 minutes, then 12, then 13, until you find the length of time you need to ensure something interesting will come to mind. The Gaelic phrase for this state of mind is quietness without loneliness. If you invest the time and mental energy, you'll not only find what's interesting or your next creative project, you'll find truth. You'll find what other people have missed. You'll find solutions to the problems we face, whether it's insight into the logic of the Soviets and their missiles in Cuba, how to move your business forward, or how to make sense of senseless violence. These are answers that must be fished from the depths. And what is fishing but slowing down, being both relaxed and highly attuned to your environment, and ultimately catching hold of what lurks below the surface and reeling it in. I am tired of myself. When you say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's often the catalyst. It means you're ready to stop making excuses and to take action. I've never met a person who wasn't successful who didn't possess a great amount of self-discipline. Self-discipline, being able to perform, keep your life on schedule, honor commitments, and meet deadlines, is essential to success. None of us can afford to have a life controlled by others or dictated by our emotions. Many years ago, I learned that there are two types of people: those who say, I'm going to wait until I feel like it, and those who say, I need to do it so that I can feel like it. The first group will never get anything done because they are waiting for the right moment. The second group takes action and then starts to feel the motivation. Self-discipline is crucial in your life and mine for going to accomplish anything. I challenge each of you this weekend, as you go through your weekend, which is hopefully a less hectic time, ask yourself if you are practicing self-discipline. Are you doing what you need to do because it's necessary? Or are you waiting for the right moment? Down, inside, it baffles sa. Ablio Bamson Bianchi, a lid presume, Uzzle Tapsters Tapsteer. If you don't know this quote, live by it. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery over oneself. Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci achieved amazing things in his life, and I want to achieve equally remarkable things in mine. If I can construct my belief system, if I can choose at any moment to believe something more empowering than I did before, that belief will manifest in my action, allowing me to achieve what I couldn't before. It's like the moment in The Matrix when Neo realizes he knows Kung Fu. As amusing as it is, that's how I think about life. To me, the fundamental purpose of life is to acquire as many useful skills as possible, and then apply them in service of something greater than myself. Stop comparing yourself to others. Focus on being the best version of yourself. Once you've achieved that, you'll recognize that you deserve a seat at the big table with everyone else. Accept that you have as much right to succeed as anyone else. Next, learn to talk the talk. Get fluent in the language of success and surround yourself with people who have achieved their dreams. Immerse yourself in a culture of achievement. The ideal situation for a person is to have loved ones around them praying as they pass away. However, imagine being on your deathbed, surrounded by the ghosts of your unfulfilled dreams, ideas, abilities, and talents. They are there because you never perceived. They look at you with angry eyes saying, "We came to you, and only you could have brought us to life. Now we must die with you." The question is, if you die today, what dreams, ideas, talents, books, music, leadership, or voice will die with you? Valkyles, wa faith. Miles Monroe, a great orator, said, "The wealthiest place on the planet is not in the oil fields or diamond mines, but in the cemetery. There lies untapped greatness, talent, and potential that was never realized." Henry David Thoreau wrote, "Oh God, to reach the point of death only to realize that you have never truly lived." Perhaps that's why some unknown writer asked, what if you live your whole life only to discover it was wrong, that you were meant to do something else and didn't do it? Anoen, say, say that fidgety, amoli tresterd, awopane, absol music, why? Lying what to kill. Repeat after me. Live full. Die empty. Music kill. They. I want you to take some notes and reflect on your goals and dreams in the following 3 categories: personal, professional, and social contribution. How many of you are serious about your goals and dreams? Raise your hands, please. Thank you. How many of you don't want to take your dreams to the grave with you? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Shake hands with someone on your right and left. Look them in the eyes and say, "Get out of your head and step into your greatness." I want you to write this down as you think about your goals and dreams. Let's say together, it's possible. Yes? Write that down. Ladies and gentlemen, as an entrepreneur for 20 years, now entering my 21st year, I could have been speaking and training for 34 years, but for 14 years, I was living in my head. For 14 years, I held myself back. For 14 years, I would attend seminars by great motivational speakers like Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, and others. I would leave inspired, but my internal dialogue was, my heart would say, "Can do that." Then my mind would ask, "Phil, how would you do that?" Les Brown. Yet, one. When I was in 5th grade, I was labeled as educable mentally retarded and was held back from 5th grade to 4th grade. I failed again in 8th grade. I had no college training till a man changed my life. I'll never forget his name. Leroy Washington. He is in his 80s now and blind from glaucoma, but he gave me a different vision of myself. I was in his class waiting for another student when he came in and asked me to solve a problem on the board. I said, "Sir, I can't do that." He asked, "Why not?" I responded, "I'm not one of your students. I'm in special education." The other students laughed, saying, "That's Leslie, not Wesley. Wesley is the smart twin. Leslie is the dumb twin." Mr. Washington came from behind his desk and said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated. He looked at me with the eyes of a mentor who saw potential. Said, "Look at a person as they are, and they remain the same. But look at them as if they are what they could be, and they will become what they should be." We developed a relationship, and one thing I want you to consider as you think about your goals and dreams is that it's possible. If anyone, at any point in time, has lived their dream, then it's possible for you to live yours. I made a mistake by letting my mind question how and stayed stuck there for 14 years. I can't get those years back, but I've made it my mission to help people stop procrastinating. Have you ever thought about something you wanted to do, but procrastinated and talked yourself out of it? Raise your hand if you have to. There's a proverb that says, "If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm." As you look at your goals and dreams, remember, every day, we must convince ourselves that it's possible. Every seminar, workshop, book, and speaker that I've encountered has challenged what I believed about myself. Everything you do matters. I know now, as I look back at age 63, that every choice I made was based on how I saw myself. Let us say together, it's necessary. Write that down. As you look at your goals and dreams, it's necessary to have a strategy and a game plan. Change the story you believe about yourself. This is an ongoing process. What we accomplish and produce is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. My favorite book says, "Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." As I worked on myself, I realized I was transitioning from one story to another. I'm still growing and developing. I resonate with the sentiment of the woman who said, "Lord, I hate what I am. Thank God, and not what I was." You must work on yourself regularly for mental mindset and stamina, because challenges will come. Many people go to their graves with untapped talents and abilities because they didn't know what they didn't know. I thought I knew myself, but I didn't. Sometimes people can help you access parts of yourself that you can't reach alone. I was afraid. I never worked for a major corporation, and I wanted to speak for them. I feared being exposed because I didn't have a college education. I felt inferior and let that fear of failure stop me. I paralyzed myself by assuming my limitations rather than recognizing my special quality. You have something special. Just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you can't learn. As someone once said, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Repeat after me, leap, and grow your wings on the way down. Now I can find those who live their dreams. Only 2% are risk takers. They don't mind failing or making mistakes. They embrace life. Take risks. As God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. If you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. If you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? Unfailing, thou. I like what Helen Keller said. Life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first.